Hello, everybody. Welcome to another week of Daily Word with Pastor Sunday. And today I want us to talk about the ability to listen. That is a major challenge for a lot of people. Not too many people don't know how to listen. Many people like to talk. And most of the time when they talk about themselves. Well, somebody says if you don't have anything to talk about other than yourself, just keep quiet. The Bible tells us in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 19, that we should actually try to talk less and listen more. And the reason for that is because when we talk, we are only saying what we know. But when we listen, we are learning what other people know. Even when you feel like you know more than the other people don't do, and you think that what they are saying is not so interesting, well, whatever you are going to say is going to be the same thing that you already knew. So why don't you just listen? Why don't you just keep quiet and try to learn new things? The only way to learn new things from other people is to just keep quiet, keep your mouth shut, and listen to try to just pretend that you're learning new things and listen more to other people. And the more you listen, the more you hear them talk. Even from the foolish of people, you will discover that there are some wise things that are coming from them. It might be some sparks of wisdom, but there will be wisdom that you can underline, especially when you really want to learn. So let's listen to James. He knows what he's talking about. Let's talk less while we listen more. Let's be eager to hear rather than talk and be slow in talking. We should actually be talking twice less than we listen. And if you want to talk, two sentences, make sure you have listened to to 4 or 5 sentences before then, and because that is one of the best ways to learn. So God bless you. Continue tomorrow. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another day. One of the wisdom in learning to listen and in the act of listening, that James was trying to teach us in chapter 1, verse 19, is when he says that you should be eager to listen. Basically, he's trying to say we should be eager to learn and then be slow to speak. One of the wisdom in that is because when you are eager to hear, then you are learning. When you learn, you grow. And when you grow, you change. And when you change, you make progress. So, but for people who are not willing to listen, or who are always talking, there's a disadvantage in talking all the time. And one of the disadvantages of talking all the time is that talking all the time, you actually make your words valueless. Your words lose value because when you're talking all the time, uh, people begin to take you less serious because you are always talking. So people don't take you serious anymore. That's one thing. Another thing is when you begin to talk all the time, how many things will you like for people to remember out of all the things you've said? Definitely, people aren't going to remember all the things you've said. It's not only you they have been thinking about all their lives. So definitely people will not remember. That's one of the major disadvantages of talking too much. It's better to say a few words that will stick with people, that people will remember, than saying a whole lot. And then nobody will remember what you've said. They'll just say, oh, that guy was talking a lot. Instead of them remembering what you've said, you actually end up irritating them. They get irritated, they get they get bored by you, and they get put off by you, and they don't want to meet with you anymore. They don't want to spend time with you anymore, and they run away from you next time. So if you really want to make impact on people, the best way to do that is not just to keep on talking incessantly. The best way to do that is to learn and listen to them first, talk about them more, and then just inject some few wisdom into the process. That will be remembered more and longer than when you do all the talking. All right. God bless. Hello, everybody. We continue to talk about the ability to listen and the advantage in listening. Well, when you are young, you used to think that there is virtue in talking all the time, and you used to so we actually all think that when you talk a lot, that's when you become a hero or a star, and you think that when you do all the talking, that people remember you and you become the star of the group, and because you are talking all the time that people will think you are smart or you are wise. But in real life, the practice has shown and life has shown that most people who talk all the time, they are not the ones that people think are smart. They are the ones that people think are just troublemakers. People who waste the time of others and don't give consideration. They think basically that you are inconsiderate when you do all the talking all the time. And people don't remember you for good if you talk all the time. The real wisdom in life and what life has proven is that people are remembered by the silence they keep, by the silence they keep. The ability to be silent, the ability to keep quiet, to keep silent when all other people are making noise, when the world around you is just going bustling and when so much noise, is that you are respected for that, because the man that is able to keep quiet, to keep his countenance, is a person that is regarded as a person that manages himself very well, a person that exercises self-control upon himself. So people who have self-control are normally more respected than people who lose control. So that's why in Proverbs, the Bible says that the man that is able to control himself and his emotions is actually stronger than the conqueror of a city. So you are remembered more, not when you do all the talking, not when you are just jumping up and down and talking and trying to impose yourself on everybody else, but it's by the silence you keep. A man is remembered by this silence, is known by the silence he keeps. So exercise silence and listen more, talk less. God bless. Hello, everybody. We keep on talking about the need to listen more and to speak less. One of the major advantages, I think everybody knows this, of speaking less is because silence is a friend that will never betray you. And the way it is said in Proverbs is that even a fool, if he keeps quiet long enough, people will think that he's smart, because he will never be able to have the opportunity to display his folly. He's not having the opportunity to speak some rubbish. He's not having the opportunity to let the gas loose, to let people know that there's a smell coming from his mouth, because he's keeping quiet all the time. When you are keeping quiet all the time, there is no smell coming, there is no odor coming out of you. But when you're talking all the time, well, people should be getting ready to run away from you. So one of the major advantages of listening and being quiet is that you are not betrayed. Your foolishness is not on display. People don't see you as foolish. They don't see your weaknesses, because the Bible says that if a man doesn't sin with his tongue, he's perfect. He's perfect. Because when you are not talking, you keep perfection, and because you are not talking, your weaknesses are not revealed. Because you are not talking, nobody knows that you don't really know much. Because you are quiet all the time, some of your weaknesses are not put on display or in display. But when you are the type that talks all the time, people see your weaknesses all the time. People see that you are not perfect. People see the things that you are struggling with. And the Bible also says that when you're talking all the time, you cannot avoid sin. A man that talks all the time is going to be running into one minefield and the other. So if you really want to be a wise person, one of the major ways to do that is to learn to listen more and talk less. God bless. Hello, everybody. Well, welcome to another day. Today I keep on talking about the wisdom of James in 1:9, that it says that we should be eager to listen and be slow to speak. And that should be natural. And it's like God is trying to tell us something when He gave us 2 ears and gave us 1 mouth. There is a difference in that between 2 and 1. 2 means you should do twice of hearing than you do of speaking, because you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So speak more, speak less than you listen. So listen twice more than you hear 1 time. And another wisdom in the fact that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth is that, have you ever noticed that God is not just telling us to be quick in listening, and slow in speaking by giving us 2 ears and 1 mouth. But there is another very interesting observation you make when you look at a person very well, because we don't just have 2 ears, and 1 mouth, but we have 2 ears that are always open all the time. The ears are never closed; they are always open. So it means be always open to listen, to learn. You are supposed to be learning all the time. You are supposed to be listening all the time. But we have 1 mouth. It's not just 1 mouth, but we have 1 mouth that is not meant to be opened all the time. We have 1 mouth that is always closed most of the time. Mouth is naturally meant to be closed. The lips are there to close the mouth. So that should be a wisdom to us. That should be giving us some suggestions right there, some ideas that God really expects us to be quiet most of the time and to listen most of the time. God bless. Hello, everybody. Well, we keep on talking about being eager to hear, and rather than being eager to speak. Be slow to speak while you're eager to hear, to learn, and to listen. Well, one of the greatest advantages of keeping quiet and learning to listen is because when you listen long enough, you begin to learn. And there are always opportunities in listening. When you listen, you see opportunities. Even when you don't listen to people's talk, maybe when you just keep quiet, just the ability to keep quiet and be on your own or by yourself, by itself, it's already a major advantage, a major blessing. So when you keep quiet long enough, you begin to hear the knocks of opportunities in your life. God begins to speak to you. One of the major disadvantages of people who want to speak all the time is that they never listen to God. Because when you are speaking all the time, God's going to keep quiet. God is not going to be, talking and trying to out-talk you or argue with you to find out who could out-talk each other. No, God is just going to walk away from it if you are talking all the time. So, if you are not the type that can that knows how to be quiet, why don't you practice solitude with God? Because that's one of the major reasons why some of us don't pray. Because we want to fellowship, we want to talk with others, we want to communicate with people. We just want to get ourselves talking. But it's a very major blessing when you are able to isolate yourself from people and you are walking or by yourself in silence and in solitude. That's when you hear God. That's when the greatest ideas are born. That is when some of the greatest inventions are made. That's when God could speak to you. So practice being alone with yourself and being alone with God so that you could hear Him and you could hear the directions He has for you in your life. God bless.